name is Ishmael and today I'm going to talk about a very controversial subject which will make most people switch off to this video before they even start watching it. Yes, I'm going to talk to you about my opinion about God. And now you've switched off. Great, that's good, because those people who have switched off are people who I don't really care if they watch this. Because they're closed-minded people. Closed-minded people are people who will never expand their intellect. They will never expand their understanding and they will never become whole. And by whole, I do not mean whole as in a person because we have like broken bits or anything. No, I mean whole as in our souls will become connected. We'll become what some people call enlightened. We'll become more open to everything. We'll accept people more. We will not fight and regard things as wrong or right or positive or negative, but we will just accept things as are. They are as they are because they are. And that is a concept which people cannot grasp. Closed-minded people cannot grasp things that are as they are because they are. They cannot grasp the concept. They say, but how can anything be as it is because it is? That's just saying it is. Exactly. It is what it is, and it is. So, what you need to understand is that this is the understanding of comprehensive wholeness. Whereas if you want to say, well, that's that because of, and then you start explaining it with science or explaining it with reason or explaining it with circumstances leading up to it or circumstances, consequences after it, these are things which are limited. We don't want limited. So we're going to explain things from the point of view of the hologram. Now, the hologram is something I explained in a different video. And this will be explained again on a low level. So let's explain it from a holographic bookmark. So, in a bookmark, you have a picture, and when you turn it, you have a different picture. You might have like, I don't know, a dolphin jumping over a pyramid, and in one angle you see it just at the bottom, and in the other angle you see it over the top of the pyramid. And this is a hologram, and as you move it, you see the picture move. And it looks like a 3D representation, so it looks like it's coming away from the bookmark and it's actually on top. This is what you see as a hologram. So this is very, very important. I explained the concept in a different video and I explained it how it was scientifically, how we proved it. Well, not we as in me, but how it was scientifically proven. So, now that you watch the other video and come back to this video and see how holograms work, what effectively happens is when you cut a hologram in half and you cut it in, and you cut it and you cut it and you cut it to the tiniest piece and you put it under a microscope, what you see in that tiny piece of the hologram is an exact replica of the original hologram. Everything is an exact replica. However small you cut it, you will always see the entire hologram. That is what a true hologram is. You can cut it in half and you'll have two identical pictures. Not you'll have half of one picture and half of the other picture. You'll have two identical. So every time you cut it, you can multiply. This is what happens in the universe. Now the reason I bring this up is because I believe, personally, that it's not proven, apart from the holographic theory, that God is a person. And we are just tiny little fragments of that person. And how does that look? Well, when you look at the tiniest thing, you'll start seeing atoms. Let's use atoms as the smallest because they do go to protons, electrons and the quantum physics and stuff. But let's use atoms. And atoms have electrons flying around them and effectively they can be sized up into a star. And a star has planets flying around them and they can be sized up into galaxies. And galaxies have have universes flying around them. I always get the terms mixed up, so correct me if I'm wrong. But effectively, the galaxies and universes and the things, they cycle around exactly the same as an atom does. And the fact is that you don't see that because it's on such a large scale that it takes years for the planet to go, well, 1 year for Earth to go round the sun, but it takes microseconds for the electrons to go round an atom. So, if you would slow down an atom, you would see the orbit the same as the planet around the sun. And if you would speed up the planet, you would see the orbit the same as it goes round an atom. And if you would scale up, it keeps happening. And what happens is that everything repeats itself on a bigger scale. Which means what? It means that when you go bigger, you start seeing things differently. They believe, I don't know how exactly they have measured this, but when they go up to a large enough scale, they find that the universes actually drift like a river. They have found that they actually act as a river and they're actually all flowing in one direction. They're not circling. Now this is quite interesting because we said they circle around each other, but they're drifting as a river. So on the largest scale possible, what we've found is that, compare this to atoms, and I'm going to keep switching and swapping so that it tries to make it clear, but if you compare this to atoms, an atom is like a planet. Planets are effectively the same as electrons and atoms are effectively the same as stars. We can go up. Now after you get your planets, or you get your atoms, and you go on the next scale up, you start getting sort of other things. So they start building up things like blood cells, which then are the next scale up. But if you actually go at the universe and you start looking on the universal scale, what you'll find is that when you go to galaxies and you go to universes and then you follow the universes, they flow in a river. And so this river can actually relate to the same, what they can see of it, actually relates to the same as your blood vessels in your body. So they're flowing and they're going in one direction. So we can say it's a river, but we can also say it's the veins in your body. Now the reason that we cannot see the ends of the universe and that it constantly is expanding, and the reason we are constantly expanding the universe is because effectively the Big Bang was creation itself. The Big Bang was effectively the point of conception. So without going into too much detail, sperm goes into an egg, and as it goes into the egg it makes a pop. And that is the point that that egg is fertilized and the creation starts. The egg starts to become fertile and it starts to grow. And that is the point of the Big Bang. And as it grows, well, you'll never find the edge, because every time you find the edge you go, oh, I found the edge. But then to prove it's the edge you need a more powerful telescope. And when you get the more powerful telescope, by this time what's happened? The egg has expanded, the body has expanded, the cell has expanded, and it's an exponential. A baby grows on an exponential speed. And so every time you find the edge of the universe, what's going to happen? You find a bigger telescope to see further, the edge is further away. The edge is further away. And so you will never, ever, ever find the edge of the universe, because as the baby grows, or as God grows, as I like to put it, we will have our universe expand. And we are just a copy of Him. And that is why it says that we are created in the image of God. Why? Because we're a hologram. And if we're a hologram, what does that mean? It means that we are an exact replica of what we are created from. We cannot be anything different but an exact replica. And the cells and the planets that we're living on, they are cells inside the human body, or inside God's body. And so us destroying the planet is like a cancer. People have related human species to the planet as a cancer. And that is effectively what we are. We are a cancer. We are destroying things. But what we want to do is we want to become more whole and connected, and we want to become a blessing. We don't want to become a cancer. We don't want to destroy our host. We don't want to destroy it. We want to become in harmony and heal it. And this is the best representation I can do of what we are as opposed to what we are not, and how we relate to God and what God is as far as I am concerned. So if you like, subscribe and whack that bell notification icon, you will understand things from a different point of view. Whether you agree to it or not, it doesn't matter. But like, subscribe, and you will see things from a completely different point of view from most people's perspectives.